Hi, Lou Covey with Craig Mosier with Craig and Lou Go to the Ballot Box, and we're back with Proposition 34, the repeal of the death penalty.
First of all, I'm expecting this to lose, but just because you expect something to lose doesn't mean you vote no on it. You have to decide how you would like to vote, because we never are sure. The way we tell if the polls are correct or not is by voting.
Right.
So,
what do we do about this?
I support this repeal. I want to do it on a pragmatic basis. So this isn't about, oh, it's wrong, it's evil. This is about how much money is it going to save us if we do this? What difference will it make for our state? We believe that it will save, the legislative analyst said, it's going to save quite a large amount of money because of the convoluted, crazy, expensive system that we have to deal with death penalty cases in our state. Moving people off of death row, putting them back in the general prison population is going to save quite a bit of money. Also, we barely use the death penalty. We execute something in the neighborhood of one person every 2 years, maybe a little less than that. So this is something that is constantly tied up in court problems, in part because lawyers don't want to defend these cases for free. It's time-consuming, expensive, difficult. These are death penalty cases must, by law, be reviewed by the state Supreme Court. That ties them up quite a bit as well. There are all kinds of good reasons to do away with this that don't have anything to do with moral arguments. It will cost us less if we simply imprison people for life. There are safeguards in this measure to make sure that convicted murderers and the like don't get released to the general population. They're in jail for life without opportunity for parole. They're removed from the population, can't do that again. I think that's good enough right there.
Well, I am also for the repeal, but I completely disagree with your reasoning.
Go for it.
Which is really kind of weird. Now, when we talk about, just from a financial standpoint, okay, the legislative analysis says this is going to save counties and the state tens of millions of dollars annually. Okay, going back to a previous argument where we said $25 million is not enough to be concerned about, or is too much of a limitation. Again, we're talking of tens of millions of dollars. One-time state costs totaling $100 million through 2012, 2013, through 2015-16, which will supposedly take $100 million that we're going to give to local law enforcement to prosecute and investigate murders. Okay, all that sounds great. I love the fact that my liberal friend is actually thinking on a conservative level. Okay, but here's my thing. I'm a Christian. So is Craig, for that matter. I have two competing theological positions on this. Number one, it's the state's decision as to whether they will execute someone. And I am actually fine if the people of California want to have a death penalty. However, on a personal basis, as a Christian, I can't see the value of executing someone for a crime. I'm a believer in reconciliation and forgiveness, and that does not make it possible to do that. You might say there's a possibility that someone doesn't deserve to live because of what they do. And from my standpoint, none of us deserve to live because of what we do. So when I get an opportunity as a Christian to make a decision on the death penalty, my answer is going to be, I'd rather not. So that's my position. I don't believe that the fiscal impact amounts to anything. But if you ask me from a moral standpoint, which makes me a liberal in this case, I say I want to see it taken away.
This had to happen sooner or later.
Sooner or later.
Yeah.
I knew once you got a little bit more intelligent, you'd become more conservative.
No, actually, my reasoning of pointing out the practicality and pointing out the fiscal impact is because all the people I know who could be convinced by the moral argument were long ago convinced by it. I'm trying to reach people who are not convinced by the moral argument. And you and I agree on the moral argument.
Yes.
Which is another reason why this is probably the last year that the Earth will exist. But, the Mayans are probably right. But we agree for different reasons on this, and that's perfectly okay. What would be the best idea. There's one additional feature in here I like. It says that the people who are in jail for the rest of their lives without a chance for parole must work, and that the money that they generate, which won't be much, but it will be something, must go into a restitution fund. And that, I think, is a combination of a good fiscal idea and a good moral idea. I like that. And again, I don't expect this to pass.
So you support slave labor?
I support involuntary servitude to pay for a crime.
Okay, slave labor.
Your label is uninteresting to me. I support the repeal of the death penalty, and again, I do not expect this to pass because I think a lot of people believe this is about vengeance, and this is about if my loved one is not allowed to continue to live, the person who committed the crime should not be allowed to continue to live, which is, I think, ultimately a self-defeating ethic. But again, I'm arguing for this one on the basis of practicality. And $10 million, $30 million, we'll take it. In this fiscal environment, we should take it.
All right. Okay, we're going to back out of this, and we'll be back with Proposition 35.